You like my shirt, babe? It turn you on? Okay.
Oh. Oh. Shit. You like that? Oh. Shit. Oh. 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 Your boy, Micah Della Boo.
And he should be on a watch list. Welcome back to Random University, where today I'm fresh off of taking a couple L's in my last video where I was talking about where no one in corporate wears dreads. I knew probably about 20 minutes after I posted that video that this might not start trending in the direction I thought it would, which luckily people were pretty lighthearted in the couple comments that I got about that video. Maybe by the time that this airs, there might be a few more comments where people are like, you know what? I see what you're talking about here, because I wasn't trying to be overly flagrant. I was just trying to simply state my opinion and state my piece about the situation, as that's been my experience, as people would like to say. Well, anyway, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. As today we are trying to bust through that 2K mark, which I think we might already have by the time this video airs, which if it does, 3K is next. But then again, I wanted 10K to start this year, but 4 months left. We'll see what happens. Well, anyway, today we're talking about Lil RT. In case you don't know who Lil RT is, Lil RT is like a 10-year-old rapper who's about the size of Bam Bam from the Flintstones.
Bitch, I got a drink up on this shit. Fit the rubber dick. Hit him in the face. Bill LeBron, he'll the bitch.
Yeah, that is the kind of music this little boy produces. Absolute nonsense that should never be promoted by anybody of his age. This kid raps about stuff that he isn't even old enough to really have experience or go through or have any options for, which henceforth is why we're talking about this video today. Because the guy that I saw, or the guy that I introduced to you just a few seconds ago, is somebody who definitely gives off creepy uncle vibes. The guy that comes out to the barbecue and for whatever reason he seems to be spending way too much time talking to the little kids that are playing kickball. You know, that's somebody that you need to look out for. The guy who's always messed up, the guy who's always slurring the words, drunky, you know what I'm saying, that one, or a little effed up on some pills. Whatever takes place at your family, get-togethers. That's the kind of vibe that I get from this guy. Seems normal up front, has KP at home, loaded up all over his laptop and probably on his cell phone. One of those weird people who's probably out there watching porn when they're eating dinner. Sick guy. I don't know. I don't trust people like this because they're promoting things that are really tearing down our community. And I'm a person, please don't stir away from this video today if you're not a black person, because this is educational for everyone. As today is going to be a lesson out of cringe studies. A lesson plan that I'm going to be trying to set up for the spring. We'll see. But either way, there are a couple people who seem interested in joining cringe studies. So let's talk about it here today, because this is cringy and everybody can learn from the cringe.
Hey, Toy, like I said, I got 20 for you, man.
Lights, camera, pedophilia, action. I wish I could say he was talking about $20 or 20 new rap deals, but he doesn't. He's talking about a mixture of 20 different boys and girls who are either going to be part of the whorehouse or part of the posse in the future. Now, this isn't an attack on these kids in particular. This is more or less an attack on the adults who are putting them in this situation, because this is child exploitation at its finest. If there's anything that you've ever seen that's exploiting children, this is it. Now, obviously, this is different from like trafficking and crazy stuff like that, but this is also a path to a hell that nobody should be living. This is a path to turning out like Amanda Bynes. I mean, quite frankly, poor little RT here can't even enunciate his words.
Yeah, boy, give my boy 100,000 on the bit.
That's the troubling part about this. This little innocent kid in his Sonic the Hedgehog t-shirt here can barely open his mouth to enunciate half the words that he's even rapping about. If you listen to one of his rap songs, you can't understand anything that he's saying. Quite frankly, he sounds like Lil Wayne. He honestly sounds like Lil Wayne at this point. He sounds like he has two gold grills in his mouth with his teeth taped together or glued shut. He's trying his best to go out there and be this, but this isn't what he should be doing. I remember Lil Bow Wow. I remember Lil Romeo. They didn't rap about the stuff Lil RT is rapping about. You know why? Because their parents didn't allow them to. The culture probably wouldn't have cared as much as people may think it would have. But those people who were supporting him were like, no, you're not going to do this. You know why? Because they had boundaries, at least to an extent. You know, maybe they were exploiting those children. But the point being was the fact that there was a line. There was a threshold. There was a point of no return. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, as the cliche goes. Once you get him on this path to degenerate behavior, going ahead rapping about, effing hoes, punching kids, beating people up, shooting up people up in the street, the kid can't even hold a Glock, and you're already gotten this man promoting violence. Not man, but child. Still, can't even hold the pistol. If he was to shoot one of those pistols, a Glock, a Magnum, could you imagine that kid shooting a Desert Eagle? It would blow him halfway across the country. There's no way he can actually do anything that he's talking about in his rap songs. It may sound cool to him and his friends and whatnot, but the older you get, the more people are going to be thinking he needs to stand on business. Anything happens in the hallway at school, which he's probably not even going to school, which is even worse because the kid needs that education, and you can tell it right now. He needs the education. I remember when I was his age, heck, my parents had me unhooked on phonics. They were prepared for me to be about as slow as a rock. They weren't prepared for me to have some intelligence. They were going ahead and preemptively letting you know, we're going to make sure this kid ain't dumb. That's what Lil RT's parents need to be doing. But but honestly, they're not doing that. They're probably at home, either on the pipe, on the game, lighting up a joint, drinking 24/7. They're not doing anything that's productive. I already know they're not. That's how this kid is like this. That's how he's in this situation, which is more disturbing, and that's what makes this whole thing situation and sad. I said situation. It just makes it sad and disappointing.
Yeah. What's your type?
Light skin.
Light skin?
That answer was completely manufactured by adults. That was not created by RT. He don't know. Light skin sounds good because that's probably what he's been hearing from a whole bunch of the brothers that's been walking around his house with their pants halfway down to their knees. Open season on the booty hole. That's the kind of stuff he's been growing up with. He's been growing up with the hood behavior that a lot of people don't realize is about as sus as it possibly gets. People who've been in prison, a lot of them then had their butts played with. And you know what they always hate against? People who get their butts played with. That's the thing that I find crazy about this whole situation. A lot of these people hate gays, talk crazy about gays, but yet they gay themselves. It's just like the old stereotype from all the shows where the one person who was so definitively against gays, always dropping the F word, the F slur. That's why people make fun of Myron Gaines so much and Fresh and stuff like that, because people who say that and they're so anti anything, it makes you start feeling like you have some insecurities. That's the kind of people he's growing up around.
So look, how many likes were there on this video?
Yeah, boy, give my boy 100,000 on the video.
Do you see the point I'm talking about with how he's enunciating his words? He needs a speech therapist early. Actually, it would probably help him with his rap game a little bit, but I don't care about his rap game. I don't. I hope he can get his family up out of the hood, but these unfortunately are some of the people that if you get them up out of the hood, they're going to be in your grocery store robbing everything that you see off the shelves, because that's the place that they came from. A lot of times they don't change. They can go ahead and change the environment, but you can't change the old environment that was already embedded into that child or those adults or those people. They have to truly change their behaviors.
Hey, like, comment, subscribe. This is the first ever Kid 20v1, man. So you already know what to do.
He's right. I already do know what to do, and that is dislike, block, and call the police. Now, obviously, I'm not going to call the police because I'm not that tied or invested into this situation.
Okay, what's your name?
My name Amari.
All right. RT, you got any type of questions for her?
Hey. Hey. What's your name?
Amari, how you been doing?
Good.
Type.
This is already awkward. Like, extremely awkward. I'm uncomfortable already viewing this. And I've already seen this once, and it's getting worse to see it a second time.
Hey, RT, she a little taller than you though. Like, you like girls that's taller than you? For sure?
Well, just for the future, if RT is going to like any of these girls at a younger age, they're all going to be taller than him. Now, I get girls mature faster than guys, but I mean, these girls, this girl is already twice his height, and some of the future girls are going to be even bigger, I think. I mean, it gets crazy.
All right, so she's staying in the game? All right, bet you good.
Now, I do remember that Lil RT was really kind to these people, because I honestly think that this kid's probably got a really sweet heart, really the true innocence of a child being forced to do things that they shouldn't be doing.
All right, next girl.
Oh.
What's up?
On the line right here. Y'all done some line. They was gonna run up.
But they too tall for me.
I think she might be a little bit too old. I was just talking about how girls mature faster than boys, but this is a little bit crazy. This girl is literally twice the size of Lil RT. RT's 10. This girl looks like she's about 14, 15. I mean, I know, future down the road, not that big a difference. Right now, huge difference. There's a lot of different things when it comes to the anatomy, when there's that big a difference around that age. Just effed up. I mean, this is icky. This is real icky.
But the other girl was tall though. This too tall. But it's two of them though. It's two girls. You don't like that?
And these poor girls are already being sexualized. They're out here. This is the future Sukiana and Sexy Red of their communities. They're already putting them out there to be that. The thirst traps for the kids in middle school. Like, can they not get to high school before they're just bombarded with, or whatever, crazy, vaginas and ding dongs that they got thrown out there in front of their face? You can't get rid of this stuff. If you already go on Twitter, it's already all over the place. But you could at least mitigate some of the damage before it gets there. Before this kid's already going to have erectile dysfunction issues by the time he's 21. So like this dude that I just posted a video about a month or so ago about him couldn't get it up at the age of 19 or 17 and he decided he's going to kill some hooker who was 28, 29, which that was messed up too. People didn't really talk about the age as much as they should have in that video. That was a significant gap in age there. But either way, I guess boys can't be exploited either. But just this circumstance, I'm just saying, this doesn't lead to good things.
Who you working with? Okay.
Now, he denied them. He doesn't deny many. And I think under that circumstance, look, in this situation, I believe they were just too tall, too big. And he's like, look, maybe not. But also, we shouldn't even be discussing this. And the things that they say to this kid after a while, it just becomes like, who really told you to say this? You either heard this directly from a Sexy Red song or Sukiana song, or an adult told you to say these things. And why would an adult tell a 12 to 13 to 14 or 10-year-old any of these things? Unless they were into it.
But the last one was a little too tall too. That's what I think. Nah. All right.
I think personally you shouldn't have an opinion on this, and I think you need to go ahead and submit yourself to the police. Turn yourself in, sir, before we find what's on that laptop.
RT, would you ever have two girlfriends though? No? So you like one.
Why is this already a discussion? Why? I mean, monogamous relationships completely gone at this point. What's the name of polyamory? They're already teaching this kid polyamory. Polyamory. Jesus Christ. They're already teaching Lil RT polyamory at this point in time, which is just. No, wait, is it polyamory or polygamy? Either way, it's one of these ridiculous words that's talking about you need multiple spouses. And they're already trying to teach this kid that at 10 years old. This kid ain't gonna have an ounce of loyalty in the future. Already gonna be strung out on poontang by the time he's in, a freshman and not in college.
All right, next girl.
Hey.
Yo, where are they finding these girls? I remember girls being taller than me when I was in school, but they weren't this much taller than me unless we had about 4 or 5 different, years of age gap. And I'm talking about I was in 3rd grade, they're in 8th, ready to go check in to be a freshman and get bullied in high school. That's what they were preparing themselves for. While I was going ahead and just learning how to use my crayons and color in between the lines, they're already about to go try out for the freshman basketball team. Where are they finding these kids? And who are putting them on these platforms? Anybody who's involved in this operation needs to be investigated immediately.
How you been?
Good.
Tight.
Yeah.
This operation needs to end. We're only 4 chicks in, 4 little girls in. And we really should have stopped at 1. But now that we're 4 in, I'm really convinced that somebody from behind the scenes should have been like, hey homie, let's pull the plug. He can't be operating with too many people. It looks like he's got a tripod set up, so it could just be him in this white room looking like purgatory out here exploiting these children like they were going to have, an ever-living or everlasting hell to go through. This is what I believe personally is that this guy is trying to direct his own future KP. That's what this looks like. This looks like a guy who's getting really into this moment, like he's really trying to match up the kids and be like, hey, how about this one match up with that one? It's real sick stuff. This is real sick stuff. And this is coming from someone who's seen people get exploited at a young age. I've seen girls, get brought into a hotel by some shady individuals, and it was like, hey, what's going on? Why are these older men around? Isn't she 16? Why is that 44-year-old man trying to get into her hotel room? Now, the only reason these kids had a hotel room was because, well, they were, starved to an extent. But why is that old man there? He ain't related.
Oh, so you picking and choosing now with the height. I see what you doing. That's because she was light skin, huh? Oh yeah, that boy like light skins. All right, next girl.
Predator. That should be his name.
But that's a boy.
Hey, yo.
What good?
Who your favorite rapper?
Honcho.
Huh?
Honcho.
Okay.
Now, I guess they decided to put a little remix on RT here and throw him off with a little bit of, let's throw a guy in there and see what he thinks. It wasn't what you think. It's not something that creepy, but it is still creepy what they're doing with the girls. But this is actually one wholesome part of this video that I find. The little boys that are there, I guess they're just kids who want to be his friend. You know, hey, who wants to be a part of the posse? Who wants to be my friend? Once again, I got that friendship program that I'm going to be starting up at some point in time in the future. But just saying, these kids obviously are like, hey, you know, maybe RT's cool and maybe I don't have a lot of friends at school. I want somebody to play Madden with or some video games or anything. I want somebody to go hang out with. We all want friends. And at his age, this is vital. When you're that young as a kid or a boy or whatever, girl, it doesn't matter what gender or whatever you are. You seek friends. You need them. The kids who grow up without those friends, especially at these pivotal points in time in their lives, they're the ones who struggle the most when they get older. They are the ones who struggle the most with mental health. They struggle with all sorts of anxiety, body issues, everything. These are the ones who struggle to just get out of the bed in the morning when they turn 22. Because they didn't have friends. They have nobody to call, nobody to rely on. Crap hits the fan, they can only rely on their family. And some people, their family suck. Just in case you didn't know, some people don't like to go home to their family. You know why they don't like to go home to their family? Because they're just like this situation here, where you got crazy uncles or some creepy old dude that's running around the house, probably with his pants off, acting crazy, beating women, over here slapping folks around, exploiting children, doing all sorts of crazy nonsense, all sorts of things that would traumatize a kid around their age. And that trauma doesn't leave most of these people because you know why? They don't get help. And especially in situations like this, where they're from those types of communities, they don't ever seek help because there's still the stigma. Don't need to go get help. Real men don't get help. Heck, even the hood chicks don't go get help. You know why? Because that ain't the way.
This is the way.
Getting help ain't the way. That's weak. That's white people shit. That's stupid. Believing that kind of crap is not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to help us win. We're not going to break through anywhere. Unfortunately, this part of black culture is the part that everybody thinks is black culture. I don't live like this. I never grew up in these situations, though I do have family and relatives that do. But they don't act like this. They ain't doing stuff like this, at least not to my knowledge. Now, some they might, but I don't talk to them. I don't. But they do grow up in places where this kind of crap happens, where the crack is sprinkled into the neighborhood. That's where they're from. That's where this is.
Hey, RT, but you know, some of these dudes, like, they coming up to be your friend, too. So, is this somebody that you
he good?
friends with?
And once again, back to Lil RT. Lil RT is not a person who's going to be eliminating a whole bunch of people from the competition because he's just like a little kid. He wants to be nice and get along with the other ones. He doesn't want to be seen as mean. I know his raps are crazy, and I know he's talking about killing all those folks that is probably lined up in this purgatory room, but he doesn't mean that. I doubt Lil RT's writing those raps. Lil RT probably can't even spell Little RT. Just saying, the kid, I don't think he goes to school. They out here got him all out in the streets making money for everybody. I don't know if those are fake dollar bills they splitting out there. They probably got this kid in the back seat while they doing drive-bys, drug deals, all sorts of heinous stuff. Instead of going and checking in and going to recess, this kid is out here dropping off a dime bag. Maybe not him, but he's with somebody who's probably doing it. And if he is, that's really sad. That's really, 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 really sad. Because I'm not going to show you the whole video today. I mean, I'll leave a link to the video in the description if you feel like watching it, because if not, this video is going to last forever. And I don't want it to last that long. But there are things I wanted to point out to you during this video before it ends.
Why you like Honcho? He said, you don't want him to know? He gonna watch this. He funny. All right, next.
If Honcho's tuning into this content, I think he needs to be locked up and investigated as well. I think there needs to be a couple black vans sitting right outside of his house right now, or apartment, or condo, or wherever he decides he's going to reside. I don't care if he's living under a bridge. There should be a black van waiting. Men in black people. Those guys.
What's up?
What's up?
I think your music hard.
Appreciate it.
But I came here to support you.
Now, even though this poor kid's already dressed up like he's ready to go ahead and start gangbanging right now, that's probably just his aesthetic. It's just the attire, it's just the clothes they get him. So I'm not going to judge him on that. And quite frankly, I mean, he think you look cool. You know what I'm saying? Hey, do your thing, son. But And he wanted to come out and give him a compliment. Usually most people be actually thinking that's hating. Him coming out here and saying, hey man, I think your music cool. I think it's cold. I like it. Even though he shouldn't be listening to this crazy ass music to begin with, at least he's trying to be complimentary and find a friend. But once again, like I said, it's nice to see that they're trying to set him up to get some friends, because Lil RT's gonna need friends. He's gonna need somebody who ain't gangbanging. He's gonna need somebody to just go out and play Madden with, PlayStation, hang out, play some cards, shoot some darts. I don't know, anything. Go out there and play on the monkey bar, swing set, because that's what age he's in. You know what I'm saying? In case people don't know, they're gonna be playing more likely kickball. But instead, they want him kicking heads across the pavement.
Hey. What's your name? Oh,
What's your name?
Amora.
What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Lil RT don't care about what their favorite color is. He says he has his own favorite color, and he might not like others, but he just accepts everybody for who they are. Which means RT might be more woke than what anybody possibly imagine. Growing up in that kind of environment, he might actually be more woke than Disney. Not saying he's delusional. I'm not gonna put RT on that chart. He doesn't belong anywhere there. No, not gonna do that. He doesn't belong there. But just saying, he seems to be awfully accepting as a kid and doesn't want to burn down any bridges, which would be smart in the future when it comes to future contract negotiations, because you don't want to burn all your bridges. You don't want to be in those situations where you can't negotiate contracts because people seem you unfit to work with. That's not ideal. You want to be one of those people like, hey, I don't mind kicking it with Lil RT. RT, he's got some knowledge about the brand. He's easy to talk to. You can bounce some ideas off of him. He's not going to threaten you like P Diddy and put your head, in a blender, anything like that, or cut your hands off, do some crazy stuff like casino or some type of mobbish shit.
Hey. What's your name?
Strawberry. I'm gonna start off though. I'm not here for you, but I just came to shout out my YouTube, Lil Strawberry 302. So, yeah. Go ahead.
This girl's already using Lil RT for clout. She's already using social media platforms to boost hers. Somebody's been teaching her well. And once again, how old is this girl? My God. What are they doing? What's happening here? Are they trying to turn the women into future Geppettos just like homie who's in the chair? I don't know, man. I don't know, guys. This is tough. Once again, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. I know that was completely random, but this is Ran-DomU. But this stuff is just next.
Hey, Lil RT.
Hey.
Okay. You want to tell me why you popped her, though? You can be honest. You don't want to tell me? All right, come on.
Every time I think about this kid rapping about curb stomping hoes and shooting Negroes up on the corner block and selling dime bags and dropping off weight and wearing the chains and being violent, being the next P Diddy, I'm gonna think of that clip right there.
You want to tell me why you popped her, though? You can be honest. You don't want to tell me? All right, come on.
Where he popped her balloon. Probably has no idea why he did. Might have an idea why he did. But then he probably saw her face offset and she probably looked a little bit upset. Because I don't know, nobody knows why he popped it. And he was like, I don't want to be that mean. So that lets me know, once again, there probably is a really big heart in that kid. And I don't know what his future is, but I do worry deeply about it. Because he's not the only victim of this, and that's what's sad. That's what's sad about this, is the fact that he's not the only victim of exploitation. He's gonna burn out before he probably gets to high school. Lil RT is not gonna be a brand probably in a couple years. Now I know somebody who's on these platforms, commenting and stuff. His name is RT the brand. I don't really know who the guy is. I just noticed that when I think of this kid here. The brand that didn't completely non-relation. But either way, this kid, his future is going to be stunted by everybody else in his way. He's going to be like one of those athletes who just couldn't get out of their own way. One of the most talented people you can ever see, dunking in 5th grade, talking about 360s by 7th grade. Didn't make it up out of high school. Never even made the team because they couldn't stay out of trouble. Every time you looked up, they were beating some kid's ass, slamming their head together with a locker, putting some other kid's head in a swirly, putting guns on folks, threatening teachers, choking women. All sorts of stuff, man. I mean, you could think of any bad crime possible. That's what happens. Because these people are led down a terribly disappointing and misguided path by misguided people who also weren't shown the way. But at some point in time, somebody has to grow up and have that awareness that you need to be like, this needs to stop. Just like the movie, they cloned Tyrone. They were just cloning Negroes to repeat the same, repeated years of degeneracy just to keep the block going. You gotta have the drunk old man on the corner so he can keep his spot and keep everybody in line. Everybody has their place. And that's how these people live. Everybody lives like they have a role to just continue to destroy their own community. You know it's wrong because you'll sit there and have conversations over dinner or randomly when they sitting around getting stoned about how this is messed up. We need to make changes, man. We need to stop exploiting these kids. We need to get them educated. We need to build them better schools. We need to get them better resources. But yet you're still smoking weed and drinking 40s in front of them like it's milk and cookies. That doesn't help. The hypocrisy. They see hypocrisy and they grow up being hypocrites. Kids, it's just like kids who grow up to be racist. They don't start off that way. They don't start off hating the other race. You know why? Because they really don't see it at that point in time. They see somebody for what they are. But instead, they're taught to believe and see things in a different way because your influences, they have a really grand impact on you at those ages. Just like kids, before you even develop memories, all the things that take place in your life, how a baby is treated, all the stuff that takes place around, and they can feel the energy. You don't remember those years, but something molds you into what you are by the time you start actually processing memories. By the time you're 5 or 6 years old, most of what your personality is going to be has already been developed. Something that people don't really think about. That's why it's not good to act crazy around kids, babies, etc. Because they remember that behavior. Their sensory levels, their sensory memory or whatever. Their sensory processors or whatever it is. I can't think of the word, but fudge. Either way, that all processes everything that takes place around them. Whether you think so or not. Oh, they didn't hear that. That's a lie. They heard it. More than likely, if there was an argument in the house, the kid had their head pressed against the door, hearing everything that was being said. If they were playing video games, they stopped. If they were playing cartoons or a movie, they stopped it and they started listening to, what are the parents yelling about in there? What's going on? I don't know why they're yelling, but you know what? They're yelling about something. And eventually, when I piece those words and the things they're talking about together, I'll understand what they were arguing about. And when they do that, eventually they still start developing their own personality and they start becoming the things that they've been around. Because the people that you grow up being around, they're still your idols, whether you want them to be or not. Because you don't know what else to learn from. You just learn from the people and things that are around you because you think that's how you're supposed to act to get by. They've gotten by. That's how they got to that age, right? So you try to be just like that. And that's what this is. All right, this is tough. I'm gonna go ahead and skip ahead to later in this video, more towards the end or latter half when they start like performing in front of Lil RT, which is the crazier part. And then we'll wrap this thing up with a nice final message.
Hey, so
whose mother is this? Coming out here asking Lil RT questions. Now I'm being a little bit, silly here, but because I already know that this girl's not a mother. She's probably like 15 though. I don't know how old she is, but she looks like she's way older than Lil RT. I mean, this girl does look kind of grown from a distance. Now, this is, aesthetics, camera positions, all that stuff will throw you off and make you think of all sorts of different stuff. But this girl is like woman size. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Like, who brought her on here? Asking these deep and hypothetical questions to Lil RT.
Like, what do you like to do outside of rapping? Like, when you're not rapping or in the studio, like, what's your hobby?
You know what? I really don't know how old this chick is, but Lil RT, I guarantee you, doesn't even know what kind of lunchbox he wants to have for this year. He doesn't want to know if he wants to move on from the lunchbox or go to brown paper bags. Because, you know what? That's where he is in his life. Not talking about where his hobbies are. Lil RT doesn't even know what a hobby is, really. And that's not trying to say like the kids don't, because I think the kids got plenty of, probably intelligence somewhere in there, but he does need to be educated. What the hell?
If rapping didn't work out for you, like, what would you be doing right now?
I was going to skip ahead, but there was another clip before I moved ahead that needed to be seen.
You like my shirt, babe? It turn you on? Okay.
That was quick. I didn't even hear what y'all said. That was so quick.
Yes, you did.
Go again?
Yeah, go again. Hold on. That was way too quick.
You heard exactly what they said. You know why? Because you told her to say that. You or somebody else who's working with you told her to say that. If not, then you can go ahead and pencil her in for OnlyFans as soon as she turns 18. Just like Bad Baby.
RT like that.
No.
Who's the oldest person you have ever dated?
Say that one more time.
11?
Huh?
11.
11?
Yeah.
No.
No way.
At first I was confused by when she said that, but then it summed up in like the next 2 seconds.
That's true?
Yeah.
How old are you?
10.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
How old are you?
8.
Which, I mean, considering she probably didn't know Lil RT before all this, all that had to be pretty confusing. She's 8 years old and stands head and shoulders, actually pretty much full body above Lil RT here. Which, once again, that's what people gotta remember. Little girls develop faster than little boys. Boys' minds at that age are not fixated on women. They're just not. Now, girls might mature a little bit faster and they might have these questions and think about these things a little bit earlier in life because their brains, everything about a woman develops faster than a guy. Doesn't mean they've reached full-blown, adulthood, a la Sneeko out there, the one who would probably be, campaigning for these kids to go out there and get married by the dude who's actually hosting this program. But just saying, there's a difference.
So, do you see yourself trying to stay in the game or no? Like, no, you don't want to do that?
Stay.
You'll stay? Why?
I'm not a quitter.
Which is just code for I don't want to be left off the docket. I am not going to be left off the ballot when this is all said and done. I'm not going to be last. I play to win. I don't give a crap about any other nefarious activities that y'all have planned for us later on. I just play to win. That's the only reason I'm here. I'm not for any child exploitation, any sexual acts, anything that's degenerate towards the community or anything that's going to be demeaning towards me. She is just simply there because somebody probably asked her to be there and said, hey, would you like to go to this? And she probably said, yeah, it seems like it'd probably be fun. And then you end up in this.
All right, come on.
I think, well, I don't know about you, but I know personally, anytime I've seen a circle of people clapping it up, getting ready to dance, and there's women on the floor, and there's a guy in a chair, I can pretty much assume what's going to happen next. Now, this is talking about a group of adults, or at least a group of young adults is what I'm referring to when I'm talking about these situations. I've never seen a person Lil RT's age ever be exploited to be in this situation, and neither have I. Usually, if you're sitting down in a chair alone as a kid in a group circle, there's usually a birthday cake that was coming at the end, not booty shaking, and not, girls, twerking it up for you. We didn't have all that going on when I was a kid, and honestly, didn't need it at the time. Wasn't that interested. Might have been cool, but I think that would have put me on a path to losing my sanity at some point in time. I think I would eventually, when I got to high school or at some point in time, I would have been just strung out on the punani. Because at some point in time, I would have been definitely pursuing these things because it's been in my face since the beginning of time. I know I've been strung out because the only thing you would have really known at that point in time is to slay and get paid. That's what their environment is. Ball, slay, and get paid. Get it done, or sling dope, something like that, or rap, because that's what they got them doing. Lil RT will end up doing it all before it's all said and done. I really hope that they don't ruin this kid's life. I really hope they don't.
Oh, shit.
You saw all this taking place, and you saw that man's reaction. Ooh, what is wrong with you?
You don't find that suspicious?
Oh, shit. Shit.
Talking about, ooh, shit. Yeah. Somebody should be saying that as the cops started approaching you with some handcuffs. Like, oh, shit. They about to arrest that nigga.
Okay.
Oh.
You know what? There's no need to show any more clips from this. Personally, I don't know who won the competition. Don't care. Irrelevant to me. Bottom line is, I think Lil RT is going to be more strung out on pussy than Kenny from South Park before this is all said and done. I mean, he ain't gonna know what to do with himself in the future. He's not gonna be able to control himself, especially if he continues to actually grow on his like rapping trajectory. If Lil RT is truly a brand still by the time he gets to high school, school is an afterthought. He won't learn anything past 5th grade, to be honest. I don't think he will. I don't think education is going to be a thing in his future as long as his parents and people who are guiding him are still around. Not saying that you should eliminate them, but they're not going to change their frame of thinking. They're not going to change their mindset. You know why? Because this is already making them money. Probably more money than they can ever imagine at some point in time. People get paid to be on these appearances and do these things. They just do. They do. They get paid for these appearances. It's just like anytime somebody goes viral, right? Just like Hawk to a girl. Once you go viral and you become, the it thing, or you're just a somebody, or you have some form of clout. Remember, God, family, clout. Once you get to that point and you hit at least number 3 and you get that clout, you get to go on your clout tour and you go out there and make all the money you would like. At least for a little while until that clout, or at least that little 15 minutes of fame runs out. Once that's out, I hope you save some of those funds, because you're going to need them later whenever you don't get them in the future, because your career is shot. And there probably isn't going to be a second or third act. Good Lord, I'm struggling. But still, there's not going to be anything else that takes place after this, because you're done. You have no material. You ran out of raps. Just like Lil Romeo. Anybody heard him drop an album anytime lately? And he didn't have anything near this tragic taking place in his life. I mean, this is trauma, whether you believe so or not. It may not necessarily be as bad a trauma for some people as it would be for others. Some people can handle the crazy stuff that happens in their lives and etc. and be able to move on and go forward. Not everybody's going to suffer, PTSD and, struggle to, relate and be normal in life. Lil RT might actually turn out to be just fine in life. But overall, this is one of those things that when this takes place and it happens to kids, it does manipulate and it does warp their minds for the future of things that they see and things that they absorb. The material that they decide to consume is going to be different going forward. He might be one of those people who ends up following people like Fresh and Fit in the future because of him growing up like this. That's all I'm saying. Eventually you get exposed to female nature early on in your life, and then you're going to develop these thoughts and crazy conspiracies just like they have, and they end up manipulating you. But actually, I'm going to take that back. I'm going to take that back. Just because, honestly, that's probably incorrect. That's probably incorrect, because people like Fresh and Fit, they didn't get action. They didn't know how to talk to women at this age. Lil RT ain't got nothing to say to these chicks, but he's not intimidated. People like Mara and his kids, they would have ran into the bathroom and hid in the corner, or at least jumped into the trash can and put the lid on top of it if some girls like just tried to come talk to them because they didn't know what to do. They more than likely made fun of people like them and probably clowned them and made jokes, especially people like Fresh. I could imagine being Fresh when he was in school. When he was younger, he's already short now. He's smaller then, and he's a doofus. So could you imagine the jokes that were talked about when it came to Fresh? Oh, it'll be a lot worse than hearing things about you're blacker than Mr. Popo, or you just look like Mr. Popo, or the whole little things about like, ooh, you just an ugly MFer. People would say some foul things to Fresh when he was in school. I couldn't imagine being him. But just saying. Just to have some final thoughts and opinions on today's video, I just want to conclude it with this. I don't know why we continuously over-sexualize things for children in our communities. I don't see this happen anywhere else but in the Black community. Why do we do this? And why do we allow it? Why are there so many consenting adults when it comes to these matters? Now, I'm not saying only Blacks are the ones who exploit children. That's the furthest thing from the truth, because we definitely know that is not true. A lot of adults in general just do the terrible things that they do. But this is what's promoted a lot of times in our community. And that's the frustrating thing, because when they think Black community, people think of stuff like this. True ratchivity. That's one of those things that we can't really seem to get away from. And the only way to get away from it is to kill platforms like this. Stop feeding into the monster. Stop feeding the beast. And this is coming from somebody who's reacting to this content. But sadly, I have to add to the content to try to bring context to the situation. Because if I don't, we can't ever bring awareness to these situations. Now, I'm not coming out here as some type of preacher and changing the platform today. Once again, I know this is a school. This is a university. But yeah, I'm not really trying to come out here and teach life lessons. But today is one of those videos that does make me think of more serious things in life. Like, what the hell are we doing? Like, why do we have kids twerking on other little kids? Is that for our own entertainment? Because it ain't for mine. I don't find it interesting. I find it disturbing, like many other people do. It's just like, have you ever listened to a stand-up comedian? Do you not realize usually the least funny part of their act usually comes when they start talking about sex and over-sexualizing everything, when they start talking about the contents or the context of what's going on in their bedroom, when they talk about their love life with their spouse or their history of running through women or their history of taking ding-dongs over and over and over and over and over again. Nobody wants to hear that. Yeah, a nice sexual joke or a nice innuendo is really funny, quite hilarious, actually drop you to the floor funny type of stuff. You know, it really will. But when you just keep beating that head in, it just doesn't help. I'm sorry. When you keep trying to hammer in that point, it just comes off as cringe. Any comedian who goes out there and they start talking about sex and doing nasty things to their partner or anybody else, and it starts expanding past a couple minutes, I start tuning out. I don't know if you're the same way, but I find that the least funny part of their act. And it happens a lot of times with many comedians. I just noticed that's just the thing. And it seems like that's the thing when it comes to our community as well, and many others. When you run out of stuff to make fun of or actually make comedic content with, you just go to that. And you think it's funny, but really it's tired. It's just like going on and on and on. It's the run-on Family Guy joke. It's the one that's lasted like 8 beats too long. Like, maybe we should have killed that a little earlier. Now, with Family Guy, the difference is they do it on purpose. They do it to just agitate you to the point of, haha, it was funny, to now it's irritating, to actually it's gotten so irritating to now it's actually funny again because they just beat it in that long. This ain't that way. It ain't. Well, anyway, don't want to take up any more of your time today. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I know it wasn't quite as fire as the sunken place of irrelevance with Fresh and Fit, but hey, hopefully you liked it either way. And I'll get back to you with another killer soon.